Yo, what's up? How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Fun Speculation. Mav here, and gonna have some interesting discussions tonight. Thank everybody who's already here in the chat. Anybody who watches this later or joins in later, appreciate each and every single one of you for tuning in to Fun Speculation and anything that we do, whether it be any of our podcasts or these impromptu live streams or whatever. Quick note for everybody, there will be no PM in the PM tomorrow. Pong Soul has some family stuff to attend to, so he will not be able to be there. So we're going to not postpone, but just cancel this week's PM in the PM. We'll be back next week. And everything's good with Pong. It's actually some cool stuff that he's got to do, but just wanted to throw that out there for anybody that was looking forward to tomorrow's show. And tomorrow, it may be ABK closing eve, if that's a thing, because as Tom Warren said last week, expected at least announcement of closing may be Friday the 13th. This week, we may get the news that ABK is closing, and wow, that's going to be absolutely insane. The salt that we're going to see permeate through the community is going to be very, very tasty. It's going to be very interesting to see who's crying, what articles are written, and all of that kind of stuff, because you know it's going to happen. It's already kind of happened. It's been happening for a year, 2 years almost. I mean, shit, like almost 2 years. The deal was announced, look, back in January of 2021. So we're just a few months shy of 2 years talking Activision Blizzard, right? So meanwhile, while Xbox is doing all these things, acquiring all these things, getting $70 billion acquisitions, releasing all these different games, Forza, Starfield, multiple Age of Empires on console this year, Hi-Fi Rush, that's just to name a few. There's actually quite a bit more stuff they've done this year, and keep updating their games. Redfall just got an update. Halo Infinite Season 5 looks absolutely incredible. Killer Instinct still supposed to be getting an update this year as well, bringing that back to life. And a lot more stuff, all in Game Pass, and just continues to get better and better and better with more content. Yet PlayStation, on the other hand, seems to be going the other direction right now, without a great roadmap of games for us to talk about and be excited about. They still got a good one coming this year with Spider-Man 2. But after that, there's a lot of questions on what's coming, when it's coming, and who's making what, and when they're going to release. But we do know one thing, they're fucking us again. They decided to go ahead and say, you know what, we don't really have a whole lot for you to look forward to, except for a price increase. Another one after just increasing the price of the PS Plus subscription service that has no games day and date. Not even 18-month-old first-party games are in that service. Instead, you get price increase on PS5 Digital Edition with really no improvements. You get, I guess, 175 gigabytes extra of storage, if that's really to say anything. That's like one fucking game these days, right? And you get a $50 increase on the PS5 Digital Edition. Oh, but that's not all. If you actually want your PS5 to stand up, like is shown in every PS5 promotion out there, period, then you got to spend another $30, and you can't even use the existing stand you have now if you have a PS5. If you want your PS5 to literally not fall over, you have to spend $30 if you want it to be vertical. So you got a $30 plus $50, charging $80 more for the PS5 Digital Edition, which is absolutely crazy. I mean, especially when there's really no benefit for the consumer at all besides 175 extra gigabytes of storage. Now, I mean, what the fuck, right? Like, it's just like absolutely crazy. $80 more in customer costs for the same shit. And now, honestly, like, if you look at it even more, guess what? PlayStation is costing them less to make it. It's costing PlayStation less. It's 30% lighter, 30% smaller, or whatever. So at all of that combined, it's absolutely costing PlayStation less to make that console. And they're charging what is down to the consumer $80 more for the same shit that has no games really after Spider-Man 2 for people to look forward to with the confirmed date or anything like that. I just don't fucking comprehend it. And meanwhile, all of this other stuff that we got from Xbox, and then still a lot of people in that community keep saying Xbox has no games. What the fuck are they talking about? Really? What? Then meanwhile, also the stand that comes with the PlayStation 5 for horizontal, like anybody really wants to put that ugly piece of shit horizontal in the first place. The only way it looks semi-normal is vertical. It comes with this little, like, I don't know what to call it, popsicle stick to rest on. Yeah, they give you a clear popsicle stick to put your PS5 on, to let it sit horizontally. They literally are giving you a console that can't hold itself up. I mean, literally, they are releasing a console. Now, at least the original one came with the stand that could be positioned either way, but even then it's a stupid design because it needs the support of a stand to be in either direction. Now, at this point, they're giving you a console that literally cannot lay flat or vertical by itself. They got to give you what I call a stiletto, almost, to fucking prop it up and keep it from falling over, which looks like a little wacky piece of shit. And then if you want to actually have a vertical, which is like the way it's always pictured, that way they don't make it look like a piece of shit in all their advertising, you got to spend 30 more bucks. Absolutely crazy. Now, if you want to say, hey, it's worth it because, all these fucking games, all these games, we're so looking forward to this huge, amazing lineup of all this stuff coming out. Yeah, like Concord. Really? Like Concord? You're like Fair Games? Yeah, we're really excited. We're going to prop that shit up. Okay. Yeah, let's go for that. How about Last of Us Part 2 Remaster? Are we all excited to buy that game again? Huh? The game that came out a couple years ago? We're really hyped for that shit. Does that really need a remaster? No, that's what's happening. That's what was just leaked. That's the pipeline. That's probably the big game they have for 2024. Holy shit. Really? Really? Is that what's going on? Is that how consumers are supposed to just be like, okay, I'll take it? Jim Ryan's last parting gift, a good fucking. Say, hey, I don't got to stick around for this. Here you go. PlayStation, eat up those console sales and make some more money. Here's why they're doing it, I think. Obviously, they're going to be making profit on the consoles at this point. They got to. The software sales are down. Services are down. We've seen information come out about the amount of money that they make compared to dollars spent versus Xbox. So at that point, if their services are down, the software is down, but they're still selling a shit ton of consoles, well, obviously right now, hardware is their moneymaker. And they can't figure out how to do games of service. They can't figure out how to do multiplayer. Factions, which was supposed to be the next big multiplayer thing coming for PlayStation, is now put on ice with layoffs at the studio. The person brought in that created the monetization scheme for Fortnite let go. What's happening? What's happening? They can't figure that stuff out. So, you know what? Hey, let's just make profit on the hardware. Let's just make the profit on the hardware. Let's keep coming out with stupid devices like the controller that has a screen in it, stuff like that. Let's just milk these customers for all they're worth, and try and make as much money as we can on the hardware because software and services are down. So, we'll just take it where we can get it, right? Thanks, Jim. Thanks for the gift. Thanks for the last parting gift. Cheers to you, my friend. Fuck you. Jim Ryan, I hope you get stuck on a plane and layovers for like way too long because you hate flying so damn much. I hope you sit in a like plane waiting to take off for like 5 hours because there's like other planes you got to wait for on the fucking runway, and it's a miserable day. I hope you get like 3 layovers that were unexpected. I hope you get to the airport and your flight gets canceled. You have to stay in some shitty hotel. Thanks, Jim. Yeah, everybody's calling the clip Clippy. Clippy. Yeah, I seen some people calling it Insomniac holding up the PS5. That was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. You know, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. It is what I mean. I will say, it seems like there were plenty of people that did speak up about this yesterday. Even from the PlayStation side, saying like, "What the hell? Like, no real improvements, just more expensive." Thanks. Yeah, that's really cool. I actually appreciate the people that were there, not just taking it for what it is. So hopefully they listen to consumers and actually do something about it. I highly doubt it. As they are phasing out the existing PS5 and going to be just run through the course on that. Wow, it was amazing how many PS5 digitals were available for so long, right? Remember when they released that at $3.99 and really didn't hardly make that damn thing available to anybody? And it's really been kind of not very available for a very long time, ever since the damn PS5 came out, just so they could have the price narrative on Xbox. Oh, but we can get a $3.99 version. Yeah, we got a $3.99. We got one at $3.99. Yeah. Good luck with that. How's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning into the stream. Why So Serious? How's it going? Cyberwolf, Def Leopard, Black Max, Jago6, Jesse B, Live Supremacy, Talos Re, Boss Mod, Lethal Papa, Sam Walton. How's it going? Jago6, Alvin. How's it going? Onion Bro, what's up? Magnum Westward, what up? What up? See, Jason Max is here hanging out as well. Let's see who else we got. J Pekiv? How's it going, J Pekiv? FARK you too, my friend. Mozamshmeek, what's up? Mozamshmeek. Poison Maniac here hanging out as well. How's it going? Black Card A, Truth Serum, what's up? How you doing? Killinitis, Niternal, Grumpy Shaman. Thank you all for being here. Why So Serious as well? I don't know if I just said that, but appreciate you all hanging out. Psycho, what's up, dude? How's it going, man? I've just been relishing in the amazingness of Forza Motorsport, which has been absolutely crazy to see the amount of content that being posted on social media with clips of Forza. Really one of the most amazing racing games I've ever played. Maybe the most amazing racing game I've ever played. I absolutely fucking love Forza. What's funny is all of a sudden you're seeing a lot of GT7 content out there. I love GT7 as well. I think Forza is way better, but I actually like GT7 for what it is. It's not great at racing, but it's still a quirky, fun, not sim for me. Like, it's just a fun game to play. But it was interesting is seeing so much GT7 content posted the last couple days, right? Especially since Forza Motorsport released. And I wonder, where were all of these clips and where were all of these posts about how amazing Gran Turismo 7 was the last 18 months? The only time I've seen anybody post shit about GT7 is when the VR mode came out. And people for 2 days were like, hey, Gran Turismo 7 VR is pretty awesome. Yeah. And then nobody talked about it again. Literally, nobody's talked about GT7 hardly at all for 18 months, except now that Forza Motorsport is out. Pretty crazy, honestly. I honestly think a lot of these people you're seeing clips from all over social media comparing and trying to say how amazing GT7 is, honestly just got the game because of Forza. So they can look at Forza and PlayStation can say, Forza, thanks for the cells, right? Because console warriors that are out there trying to bash Forza have increased our sales of Gran Turismo 7. So appreciate that. Jim can say thank you to Xbox for releasing a great racing game and boosting sim racing everywhere. PlayStation fans going as far as to compare Drive Club. Absolutely crazy. Jago6 says because they have nothing else to play that can compete with Forza. Yeah, but that game. Yeah, well, 100%, I agree. But it's an 18-month-old game that they haven't been talking about for forever, and all of a sudden they love it. Okay, I didn't see a lot of this love and praise for GT7 even after the game came out. They've had lots of updates and all this kind of stuff. Like I said, I actually like the game. I was actually playing it until the lead up of Forza, just to have it fresh in my memory and stuff. But like, I'll tell you, hands down, in almost every single category, Forza Motorsport is the better game. I ain't no doubt about it. The lighting, especially in certain situations, is absolutely insane. There's some clips out there that you actually, and this has never happened to me in GT7, but there's some clips out there you actually have to do a double take and like really blow it up and look to make sure that shit's not real. Shout out to Charlie Hustle that's been posting some clips. Shout out to Nico Mueller that's been posting some clips that just look absolutely fucking incredible. I try and post shit, or I try and capture stuff, but like my captures always look like ass from whatever I'm using. Settings on my Xbox or something, and then the capture stuff I have on my computer. I've been trying to get some help fixing that stuff, but captures from Charlie and Nico Mueller have been absolutely amazing. truthserum says, I sound bitter. Why do I sound bitter? I'm celebrating an amazing game called Forza Motorsport. And I also said, I love GT7. I'm just calling people fake as fuck for acting like they all of a sudden love GT7 when they haven't been talking about the shit for 18 months. People I never saw post about GT7 ever before. All of a sudden, huge Gran Turismo fans. Those are the same people that are championing the price increase of the PS5 digital edition as well. You want to say, I'm bitter. Who's really bitter? Maybe a little jealous about the game that Forza Motorsport is. Sup Shine, how's it going? Took a break to play some party animals, right on. I've been addicted as hell to Forza. I haven't been able to stop playing the damn game. It's the only thing that's been able to pull me away from Starfield. And I said that was going to be the case for a while. And it ended up panning out. Like, Forza lived up to my expectations, and it's absolutely incredible. 3-Bit, how are you doing, man? Has it happened? Let me know. Has it happened? I got a question for 3-Bit. He knows what I'm talking about. You guys don't. Talos, how's it going? Yeah, with a killer soundbar, 7.2 Dolby Atmos. Yeah, baby. Saturday. Okay, that's right. Nice, dude. Yeah, Forza sound is amazing. Graphics are incredible. The lighting's incredible. But most importantly, and which is not even hardly ever talked about because console war stuff is just going to focus on compare this little footage in this exact setting to this footage in this exact setting and tell me what you think looks better. Meanwhile, you can tell a lot of the clips are taken with certain things in mind and certain ideas done, and that's from both sides, right? What I appreciate more is just the clips for people just sharing shit of the game itself, not necessarily the comparison stuff, because then you can really tell nothing's really doctored or used against something else and trying to manipulate settings or anything like that to try and make something look better than the other. When you just see clips of the game, right, it looks incredible. Try finding a lot of GT7 clips out there not mentioning Forza. That's going to tell you all you need to know, right? The stuff being shared about Forza, there's a lot of stuff that's just Forza. People celebrating the game, loving the game, watching, sharing their clips, all this kind of stuff. But if you see something GT7 posted, it's got Forza attached to it. The only reason people are playing that game is for a comparison purpose. What's up, Lunas Cars? How's it going? Web Dave, what's up, dude? How's it going, bro? Ghost Fixer, how are you doing? Yeah, it's been absolutely crazy. Jeremy Brown, Walt Diggity. What level am I in Starfield? Shit, dude, I don't even know. I honestly couldn't even tell you. I don't know. I have no clue. I haven't played it in since Forza Motorsport came out. So I know I've put a lot of hours into it, and I can't tell you what level I am. I never really fucking pay attention to the level. I know I level up and I apply the skills, but I don't ever actually pay attention to what the number is for my level. I don't know. Sensei Matrix, how's it going? Yeah, I hope you're doing all right, Ghost Fixter, as well. Yeah. How many hours? Shit, you're gonna make me have to look this up. Is there a way to tell on the Xbox PC app how many hours I got on Starfield? I think there's probably is a way, right? Is there like a playtime stat here? Okay, here we go. No, that's something else. How do I tell on the PC how many hours I have on Starfield? I know I can like go to my save. Okay, fuck it. I'll just do this. I'm gonna launch the game and hope it doesn't crash my shit here, because it's happened before with my settings on that, because I have Starfield like jacked up to the max. Yeah, I don't know how to find it in the Xbox app on PC. I'll just launch the game and check out my save file. I think I have it actually on this display. Five days, 7 hours, and 8 minutes. Level 36. There's your answer. I think I'm like, yeah, I know the theme's amazing, right? I think I'm like level 60 in Forza. Yeah, Colin, you got like, that's almost 10 days, bro. That's quite a bit. I know Kate, my wife, has actually more hours than I do in Starfield. She's been playing the shit out of that game. RSJ fan, how's it going? What's up, E-Ranks? Achievements go to game stats. Is achievements on the Xbox PC app? I don't even know where to view profile. I just like launched the game from this damn app. Oh, here it is. I found it. Thank you. 5 days, 23 hours, 53 minutes is what this says. So almost 6 days. Almost 6 days. That's a lot for me. Like, generally, I don't play the same game that much, right? Like, the most I usually play games is like multiplayer shooters and stuff like that, or sometimes like sports games, where I just like kind of casually play, and like is always kind of like a go-to thing. But like an actual like big story-based RPG type game, I usually don't play that long. The rare exception usually is games like Starfield or like Bethesda games, right? Like I put in so many hours into the different Elder Scrolls games across multiple platforms. I have Skyrim on PlayStation, on Xbox, on PC. I think I had it on multiple generations of all of them as well, right? Like I love Bethesda games. And it's crazy. You know, what's up, Andrew? How's it going? It's crazy to see the release like avalanche from fucking Xbox now. Like, you got to really like take it in and look at things from a perspective of like, we literally had so many games this year. Now, granted, you could say it's because 2022 was weak and all that kind of stuff, but that's also why PlayStation had a good 2022. PlayStation had a weak as hell 2023. You would hope that would help them have a strong 2024, but right now it looks shaky as hell because they honestly didn't really announce anything exciting for next year right now. So I think things are more interesting and shaky on that ground. And how long is just being the cool place to play going to hold up for PlayStation without the release lineup to get the fans excited and make them feel like their purchases are justified? Like, it's going to be interesting. Like, at some point, the value with the pipeline of games just releasing time and time again, regardless of how many people try and downplay them, try and make them sound like shit, try and say that they're crappy games, all these different things. At some point, people will wake up and realize the shit that we're playing. I don't think people that don't play in the Xbox community, like Xbox ecosystem, really understand it, and they just take word of mouth from the shit talkers and stuff for what it is, and feel like it's not a cool place to play games, like they don't have anything good and all this kind of stuff, right? But once people actually get one and they start playing these games that keep dropping, they're just like, oh, well, that's actually really fucking cool. Oh, that's actually really good. Like, nobody playing Forza is like saying this is a piece of shit game, right? Nobody playing Starfield is actually saying it's a piece of shit game. It's people looking at it from the outside being like, it's a piece of shit game. Now, you could play it and say you have critiques or whatever and all that kind of stuff, but like, these are great games, right? And really, Xbox is not getting the credit they deserve for putting these games out. Not like the celebration that happens when there's a PlayStation title. It's gonna flip eventually, and it's just gonna take a constant pipeline of these releases time and time again for people to actually wake up and see what's going on. And I feel like this year combined with next year is setting that stage, especially once Friday rolls around. If they announce the ABK closing, and then you got another first-party game launching this year with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. It's going to be absolutely insane. AJH says, Mav, if Microsoft got their hands on Turok, who would you prefer working on it for a new boomer shooter? Ooh, id making it less story-based but more gun mechanics like Doom, or Machine Games giving it more story? Oh, that's a great question. It's kind of an off-the-cuff question, but this is a question I would like to answer. If they made a new Turok, like first party from Microsoft Studios, who would I want to make it? You got to go with a great first-person shooter team. That has great mechanics for gameplay, first-person shooter. So that really leaves it down to 3 teams, right? I mean, you look at either Machine Games, id, or 343. I got to be honest and say, like, I know 343 is the Halo studio, but I've always wondered what they could do if they branched out and made something else and let their creative juices go wild. Honestly, based on what I've seen, the kind of games them make, I honestly don't want it to be id, because id's more known for like more linear style games, right? I think Machine Games could probably do it, but I look at, honestly, I think 343. Yeah, if ABK is included in the mix, oh, that changes everything, right? That changes everything. Raven Software, J Gaming 1986. That's a great one. Treyarch. Fucking Treyarch would be amazing. Raven would be amazing. You look at what High Moon Studios did with those Transformer games back in the 360 era. How about High Moon? If they're the same team they were, I doubt it. I mean, but shit. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. But if I were to look at who they got now, I would say 343. Why not? Let them do something different. And they got some of the best gameplay out there for gunplay mechanics, and I think they could do that pretty well. What's up, Dirt? Dirt, we're having some fun just talking the shit tonight, bro. Because that dumbass PlayStation price increase that makes no damn sense on the PS5 Digital Edition. Absolute garbage move. Made a fucking console that can't stand on its own. Give you a popsicle stick out of the box to put it on. Or if you want it to sit how it's always advertised to make it try and not look like shit, you got to spend an extra $30. Plus, it's already an extra $50 out of the box. Only benefit is 175 gigabytes more data or storage that you get to store one more fucking game. I mean, jeez. Obsidian would make a dope Turok game. I agree with that. They're not necessarily known for their shooters, though. I mean, they have good gunplay mechanics in a lot of their games, but I don't really peg them as like a great shooter studio. And you could even say like Arcane, but Arcane's kind of the same. A lot of the times their gunplay is good, but it's also a little wonky and not as smooth feeling as well. I think the three premier first-person shooter developers that Xbox currently has is 343, you have id, and you have Machine Games. Now, if you want to go out of the box and say, hey, Coalition, what can you do with it? Can you make a first-person shooter? I'd be interested to see that as well, because I think they can make a fucking killer Turok game. Would be amazing, but how good would the Coalition be in first person? I think they could do it. It would just be interesting to see. Other studios, like once ABK's done, you could have Infinity Ward, you got Treyarch, Raven, you get Sledgehammer. I think this needs to be a support studio, but I don't know. Froggy T says MBG actually said in his video he is glad the PS Digital price is going up. Why? Did he say why he's happy that people have to spend more money? So yeah, you get 175 gigs more storage. And you can't stand the shit up without paying an extra $30, and it's $50 more. That's not a win, truthserum. That's not a win at all. That's not a win. The shit should be cheaper. It's costing PlayStation less to make it. It's 30% smaller, 30% lighter. Shipping and all this other stuff. They're going to save so much money. They're going to make way more profit on this new PS5 Digital. Even with the extra 175 gigs that it's getting, it's not a lot, dude. Even the Series S, the one that they released, the black one, had an extra like 500 gigs, like doubled the storage pretty much. Like, and you can stand that shit up without fucking having to buy something for $30. And you can still get the original Series S too, which is also going to be on sale for even less. Like, it's just insane. I don't understand. I mean, it is what it is, I guess. People are willing to accept it and get excited for that. I can't help them. You should be asking for them to, like, just at least keep it the same price. Jasper, what's up, dude? Says this is just the way they justify the price increase for the say PS5 price increase was already a thing globally. Yeah, I agree with that too. Right? This is them like saying like, oh yeah, well it's new, it's better. Not really, but that's what they'll say. It's better. They'll say it's lighter, it's more efficient, or whatever they're gonna say, and you get 175 gigabytes more. Oh, it's only $50 more. Yeah, they're gonna. meanwhile, they're like, it's costing them less to make. That's how you're right. That's how they're going to sell it. Meanwhile, it's actually like a pretty bad deal, if you ask me. I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. If you want it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Personally, there's nothing there that lets me have a reason that I need to like upgrade to that or get rid of my PS5 that I have for that, because it has everything that you need in there, and it has the disc included in it already. You don't got to get a separate one, right? Like it's just there. Now you can get the new PS5 for $4.99 with the disc there. I think that's fine, right? You would hope that it would be cheaper, but if it's not, it is what it is. Like, that's fine. Redesign, slim model, keep the same price. You have about the same amount of storage, you know, all that kind of stuff. Cool, right? And you have the disc tray, $4.99, same price. Cool, you know, that's fine. But the other one to upcharge by $50 is just absolutely shit. Phone Prime was saying Fertonga Plays was saying PlayStation 6 power cord sold separately. Would that surprise you? I mean, Apple does that now, right? They don't even give you. They're not even give you a fucking cord. I don't think out of the box. I can't remember. I know there's some places that do that now, where you don't get like the adapter or the cord out of the box. Let's see. Next is going to be PS Cloud. They're going to love Cloud all of a sudden. Yeah, I don't understand the justification on the price increase on the subscription service, and now you have this price increase. It would be like interesting if they were on a high of game releases and stuff, you know, and things were in a great momentum for them with games. I feel like one big game release this year is not really something to be excited about. I think people are going to be excited for Spider-Man 2, and I think they should be. I'm sure it's going to be a great game. If for anybody that is excited about it, no knock against that. But there's not a lot of outcry about there's only one big game this year, first party for PlayStation, and that's just been collecting dust. I mean, people have been playing old shit, and even the older games, they're still not putting in their subscription service that they just increased the price for. I don't get it. I explained earlier in the stream like why I think they're doing it. I think they're doing it just to because that's what the software is down, content and services are down, but they're still selling hardware, so they're making their money where they can, right? They're making their money on what's selling, so they're selling the hardware. They're just going to maximize the profit on the boxes, and which makes sense. I mean, you want to maximize your profit, but like if I'm a consumer, I'm looking at like, hey, I would rather like have more games, and I'd rather have, you know, better value in my subscription service and all that kind of stuff, because that's what the competition's given right now, right? Yeah, Jasper, again, like, remember Tom Henderson was right about this, right? He was right about this PS5 Slim, so he's probably right about the PS5 Pro, which should be at this point next year as well. So why the fuck would you get the PS5 Slim knowing that there's probably a PS5 Pro next year? I just don't understand it. And there's a lot of shit that you just got to look at and be like, I don't understand what is the benefit there for consumers, right? What's the benefit there for us? It's a benefit for PlayStation. That makes sense. But as a consumer, I'd look at it like, what's the benefit for me? And there's just not a lot right now going on. Jesse B says 2 Mav MLB, got to throw that in. I would say MLB is kind of a big game, but it's kind of like nullified by the fact that you get that in Game Pass. So I give them credit for releasing that game, but it's a better value on Xbox. Like for me, the place to play MLB The Show is no longer on PlayStation. The place to play MLB The Show, the best place to play MLB The Show is actually on Xbox, because it's a better value on Xbox. So I think that kind of nullifies the yearly MLB The Show release as far as like PlayStation being able to hype it up. It used to be a big thing for them. Like, look, we got the best baseball game, the only baseball game for a long time after 2K stopped making them. And that was the thing. I literally would buy it every single fucking year in PlayStation. And I remember a long time ago, I even went back and bought an old PS2 just because MLB The Show finally came out, and I'd already like sold my PS2, but I wanted to play it again. So like I went and got MLB The Show on PS2. Like that's just the way it kind of is on PlayStation, right? And it's like I don't see the like excitement over any of the VR stuff. You know, I don't see the excitement over the controller thing. I don't know what is in it for people that buy this new PS5 digital that's better than the previous PS5 digital, other than the fact that it'll actually be available. You just gotta ask a lot of questions like that. Like next year, I bet you're going to see the PS5 Pro release, and it's probably going to coincide with Last of Us Part 2 remaster, along with the PC launch of that game as well. And people are going to be like, oh, this looks amazing and stuff like that. I'm like, yay, we already played that game. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, I've never been, like, and I sound like I'm just shit talking PlayStation, right? And I guess I am. But when I started this channel, I didn't really expect to be doing a lot of that to start with. But the more this generation has gone, I've gotten more bitter towards PlayStation because literally it has become boring to me. It's become more and more anti-consumer, and there's been less stuff for me to be excited about than ever before. And as a PlayStation fan, I have been ever since the first PlayStation launched. I've owned every single fucking one. I've owned PS1, PS2. I've owned the slim versions of both of those. I've owned the PS3. I own multiple PS3s. I actually own multiple PS4s. PS4 Pro, PS5. I've sold 2 different PS5s and rebought it 3 times because I've been wanting to get sucked in and enjoy the ecosystem. But it just hasn't been doing it. The games haven't been there for me. Not the games that I like, right? They've been a lot of sequels of the games not as crazy about. And even those now we don't have to look forward to. Like, what is there to look forward to right now? The only thing I'm super excited about for PlayStation right now is Wolverine. And I honestly have no fucking clue when that's coming. So I just like been, and then you get this stupid stuff like this. Like, it's just like, come on, like, get with it. Get on the same page with value, and stop treating your customers like shit. That's where it's coming from. But anyway, AJ says, did I try any game demos on Steam Next Fest? There's a few good ones on there. And Shrouded, Thaumaturge, and the Inquisitors, when you can play as Jesus and smite vampires. Interesting. Jasper asked, what did I play on PS4? So I got my PS4 at launch, and because back then there wasn't much to play at launch on PS4, I played Resogun, like everybody else did. I played a lot of Hotline Miami at first. Then I played the show every single year. I also played Helldivers quite a bit early on. Then I love the Uncharted series, so I loved Uncharted 4. Played the shit out of that. Then I played Infamous. I think it was Second Son. Is that what that one was called? I freaking loved that game. Absolutely loved it. Ghost of Tsushima, I really liked. For some reason, I haven't gone back and finished it, but I really do love that game. For me, that game could have been, like, I can't speak too much on it because I hadn't finished it, but for the amount I played of it, which was quite a bit, like, I think that game could have been Game of the Year that year. I wasn't into Last of Us. I tried playing it numerous times. I wasn't into God of War 2018. I tried playing it numerous times. Days Gone wasn't really like a thing I was excited for. I ended up kind of trying it later, and it was all right or whatever. But Horizon, I didn't dig at all. I tried it, got it, didn't like it, stopped playing it. So, but yeah, I loved Infamous. I loved Uncharted. Detroit Become Human. I loved that game. That was fantastic. I mean, there was a lot of games I loved. There was a lot of like, also like, I think it's called like Alien Nation or something. There's a lot of like these like indie-ish kind of like arcadey style games that I liked on PlayStation last generation. But the big titles stopped getting me excited. Now, also Spider-Man 28, Spider-Man, I mean, not Spider-Man Miles Morales, but Spider-Man also came out on PS4. I was super into that too. So, I mean, that's pretty much the games I played there. I used it for the exclusives, and I played mostly multiplayer stuff and other exclusive games on Xbox, and most of the multiplats on Xbox. Unless there was something sometimes that they would give you for free on PlayStation Plus or something like that, I would go and check it out or whatever. But yeah, I've been less excited for PlayStation this generation than I ever have before, ever since they've existed. And that's just the state of them right now. Like, I just don't get excited for their games like I used to. Walk Down says, do I prefer Xbox over PlayStation? Yes, and to be fair, I always have. Ever since Xbox came out, Halo stole my heart, right? Back then they had games like Crimson Skies and all the Fables. Lots of other multiplayer games were coming out. They had like Elder Scrolls Oblivion. It was on the 360. The Mass Effect games, the Splinter Cells back then were exclusive on original Xbox. All those things, those games like stole my heart. Like, I just became a Xbox player primarily, right? Halo 2 came out and changed online gaming forever. I was super addicted and sucked into that. Then Halo 3, it just became the place where I had all my friends, and then also like where I like to play multiplayer games, and then also like where I played all the multiplats, just because I was on the ecosystem with friends. I was always private chatting, or when party chat came out, I was always using party chat. So yeah, and then I would play PlayStation, and more as like I'm alone by myself playing this single player experience type thing that I was excited to play, and that's kind of generally how I've always played PlayStation. And it's really never evolved too much past that. They tried getting into multiplayer in the past, they kind of failed. They've really never done multiplayer right. They've never done like anything other than these like single player games like fantastic, you know. But it's what it is. What it is, you know, is what it is. I still have loved PlayStation for a long time and enjoyed the games that I've been excited about to play there. But right now, there's not much. Like, I'm not excited for Fair Games or Concord. Like, there's so many games out there that seem like samey to those. Like this dystopian, futurist kind of like shooter, free to play style games out there. There's just so many of them. Some of them are getting canceled. You know, literally Sega just canceled one with Hyenas. Erodimus asks, "Am I ready for the Battle of Texas?" Did the Astros? I mean, is it Texas? I know that. I mean, my Rangers are moving on, but I didn't see what happened today. So, is that what it is? Is it the Astros? We'll see. Yeah, I'm just looking it up because I wasn't paying attention to the games today. Yeah, the Astros won. Fuck. It's gonna be a good series. Oh shit. Yeah, I think the first game's on Sunday, right? First game's on Sunday. I I went to a Rangers World Series game when they lost to the Giants. And the Rangers went 2 years in a row, and the one against the Cardinals, we were one strike away twice from winning the series, and we ended up losing that game, and then it moved on to the next game, and we just lost that game. The Giants, we got killed. Their pitching was too good, and I was there the game that we lost the series to the Giants. And it's been 12 years, I think, roughly, since we've been to the World Series. Astros have been a couple times, I think, since then. So I'm hoping we kick the Astros' ass. Rangers get to move on. Let's go. Let's get the Rangers in the series. They deserve their first ever World Series win, unlike the cheating ass Astros. Let's go. It's going to be a fun series. That's for damn sure. Yeah, Battle of the Golden Ticket. Yeah, Rangers are hot right now. I mean, they're super hot. Like, the pitching is on fire. I mean, their lineup is like insane. They brought a couple guys up like at the right time, right before the playoffs, and they've been smashing it. Like, absolutely amazing. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, man. I can't wait to see what happens. And then we also got the Stars out there doing their thing, and like, it's absolutely crazy. You know, it's a good distraction from the Cowboys, right? Yeah, Sin says I hate that we blanked the Orioles. Yeah, you know, these playoffs go so damn fast now in baseball. I didn't like back in the day, wasn't it all, like every series was like a 7-game series, like first to 4, right? And now the first series is like a first to 2, the second series is first to 3. So literally the Rangers swept 2 series, but they've only won 5 games, right? Like, absolutely insane. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm a big sports guy, so you know, I didn't see that the results came in though from the Astros today. That's crazy. It's gonna be interesting. So I don't know. I've been ranting about PlayStation, but that's just kind of like how I feel right now. And they could have a show next year, guys. They could have a showcase that can completely gets me reinvigorated and excited for some of the games coming. And God, I hope they do. I really hope they do. I'm not one that wants PlayStation to fail. I'm not one that like wants PlayStation to fail and all that kind of stuff. I want Nintendo to be strong. I want PlayStation to be strong, and I want Xbox to be strong. It's just that like I also want them to give me shit that I want. Like, and there's just not a lot there right now. So, Nintendo as well. I'm super excited for when we get that new console announcement. It's going to be interesting next year in 2024 where you're going to have a new Nintendo device, presumably Switch 2. And then you're also going to have like a PS5 Pro, presumably, right? And then maybe this discless Xbox. So the next year in 2024 could be like a new hardware year, right? All across the board. And we're only, I guess it'll be 4 years in at that point. But I think the new Switch or Nintendo device is going to come out probably in summertime or late spring or late spring, early summertime, roughly around there probably. The new PS5 Pro will probably be closer to holiday season. And I'm assuming the Xbox discless thing it may come out sometime in the middle of next year as well, maybe to later next year. But it's going to be interesting to see all that. Now, also, from those leaks from Xbox, how much of that has changed, right? But it will be interesting to see, like, 2024 not only will be a year for lots of games again, like 2023 was, but you're also going to have a lot of new hardware, which is going to be exciting. Like, those years are always special, even if it's, like, kind of like updates or revisions of hardware, but you also have Nintendo taking a leap, finally. Right, so I'm excited for 2024. As amazing as 2023 was, to think about it even from Xbox's perspective, right? ABK is finally closing, right? So you're gonna have all of that on top of the lineup that's already planned for 2024 for Xbox, which we know Hellblade 2, Avowed, Towerborn, and the new Flight Sim are already 4 games that have 2024 on the calendar. And then anything else that they have, surprises, smaller games, anything else like that could happen next year as well. So there's a pipeline there to be excited for Xbox, which is absolutely awesome to look forward to for next year. And I feel like this year Xbox is just getting to its groove finally. They finally got some of their big releases out that hit, and this is just going to keep going. ABK is going to be added to the mix, so you're going to have all of that shit happening too. Like, it's going to be nuts. It's going to be absolutely nuts. I'm going to curious what's all the effects are going to happen from that. What Xbox does with their hardware as well. And then see the new PlayStation Pro and then also the Switch 2. Now, my only hope for PlayStation, and after they've chosen to hold back this year from game announcements, because clearly they had 2 showcases later in the year. They had the summer one and they had the last one that we got that was like third party pretty much only, except for Spider-Man 2 and Helldivers 2. You have a chance, I think. Maybe they were holding back for like the PS5 Pro show and going to hype up games and visuals for like the PS5 Pro, and that stuff they've been holding close to their vest, and that's why they didn't announce a lot of stuff this year. That's the only thing I think could be possible, like, unless they're just not ready, right? I mean, that's the only thing positive that I could see. Like, if that happens, then it makes more sense why they didn't announce any exciting games this year. Right? Like, if they go into next year and then they show the PS5 Pro, they show a Wolverine trailer, they show some other cool stuff that's coming soon or whatever, and gameplay of like the stuff running on PS5 Pro, maybe that's going to be the show that really does it for them. But right now, this year sucked ass, right? And that's just where I'm at, because I don't have it in front of me. I don't know what's going on, you know. Whereas Xbox, we see what's going on. We see all these games, and we know what's happening, right? We have all these game announcements and stuff. So there's a lot of reason to be excited. And Nate Dogg asked, "Will ABK close this Friday? Does Phil come out and do a video press release?" I don't know when they're going to do a video press release. That's an interesting question. I think it took them like a couple weeks to have the like Bethesda roundtable show that they did, where they sat down with ZeniMax, Bethesda, and talked about all their studios and what it was adding to the Xbox lineup and stuff like that. And they kind of talked to the studio heads and all kind of talked about like what they're working on, or like that they have either that they're working on a project that they can't announce yet, or like what they are working on, right? So that ZeniMax Bethesda roundtable was awesome. Do they do the same thing with ABK? That's really interesting, because it's such a different kind of thing. You know, like ZeniMax Bethesda has all these different studios that were working on all these different things. You know, you had Starfield, obviously, and you had, you know, Redfall, and you have, you know, your Elder Scrolls Online, and you had your Fallout 76 stuff. You have Arcane has more than one studio, plus you also have, you know, Roundhouse, you have Alpha Dog, you know, like ZeniMax Online, which they mentioned is making another big project. So like, it's a different animal when you say like Activision, right? And now we as gamers, like people that actually pay attention, know a lot of these studio names, right? But like, to a lot of the just general audience and stuff, like, aren't as familiar anymore, because a lot of those studios don't release games anymore. They're just support studios for Call of Duty. So if you ask like the average like gamer who High Moon is, right? Who is Raven, right? Or who is fucking Toys for Bob, or whatever, they may be like, I don't know, like, I know Toys for Bob obviously makes a lot of the other stuff like Crash and things like that, but like, generally speaking, they're not like household names like a lot of these other developers are for the gamers that get look forward to their specific releases, right? So it's interesting to see what's going on there. Like, do they sit down with and have a roundtable and go to Activision, and Activision just says, from the Activision side, yeah, we have Call of Duty, because that's a given, right? That's pretty much what most of their studios work on, and unless they have already started to let them work on other projects, which I don't know if that's going to happen until Phil gets in the mix and really like tries to shake some things up, if that even happens, right? So I don't necessarily think a roundtable would be structured the same way as a ZeniMax Bethesda roundtable. Now, Blizzard side, you could say, yeah, because you could go to them, you could have like the Overwatch team talk about Overwatch, you could have the Diablo team talk about Diablo, you could have the World of Warcraft team talk about that game. You know, then you could also say, oh yeah, plus we also have this survival game that was like Project Odyssey or something like that that we're super excited about. So you could have all of that go on, and that would make a lot of sense. But the Activision side might just be a lot of Call of Duty talk, right? And then beyond that, you have King, which is Candy Crush, right? Yeah, is they gonna go and talk about Candy Crush for any extended amount of time? I don't think so. So, it'll be interesting to see what they do, and like, do they want to sit there with like who's the face, right? Who's the face that they sit down and talk with to the audience, to the Xbox audience? Do they sit there with Bobby? Right? I mean, he's probably going to be on his way out. Maybe stay on for a couple months or something before he leaves. I don't know exactly how the transition is going to work, but I don't think that's really what they want to do, right? So at that point, you have different studio heads, or maybe somebody from marketing, or maybe Lulu get in there and like talk for them. That would be something I think they should do. Get Lulu Chang Maservi, because she's good talking to people and stuff like that. Like, at least she is on social media. So maybe they go that way, but they don't have like the Todd Howard and Pete Hines face. I guess from Blizzard, you could say like Mike Ibarra. They could go there, right? Stuff like that. But it's going to be crazy and interesting to see kind of what they talk about and what they do after the announcement. And if they have the same kind of roundtable thing that they did with ZeniMax Bethesda, because that one was like, okay, like gamers spoke to their core with these studios and who was speaking. You don't really have that with Activision. Like, ever since like the Infinity Ward main teams left, like Vince Zampella and Jason West and all those guys, like they've lost the faces of Call of Duty, in my opinion. There's no more like Call of Duty people that are just synonymous with it anymore. It's just the studio names, you know. KT the Goat says they already said Activision will be the only part under Xbox Game Studios, so I'm pretty sure they'll just let Mike be the head of Blizzard and maybe make Sarah Bond head of King. Who knows? It'll be interesting to see exactly how they shake it up. I think a lot of things that were said may not be like exactly how things are going to play out in the past. So, people say ZeniMax Bethesda isn't technically under Xbox Game Studios, but if you look at their website, they listed as part of Xbox Game Studios, but it's still a separate publishing branch of Xbox Game Studios. So, like, I don't really know how they consider it, what they structure it as. At the end of the day, I think ABK is going to do a lot of the same things and have a lot of the same structure that they have now, but it's got to be implemented into the way that Xbox does things. So, how is that going to look? How is that transition going to play out? I don't know, but I will tell you one thing: it's going to be a longer transition period. You're going to have this is a different beast than ZeniMax Bethesda. As big as ZeniMax Bethesda is, I mean, the amount of employees and people here, you're like tripling at least the amount of employees for Xbox. Like, this is massive. So this is not just like a acquisition to add. This is like a transformative acquisition for Xbox. This is like changing everything for Xbox, and it's gonna be crazy to see. I mean, for consumers, like, our benefit is like looking at the deals of the games we're going to get and the games being in Game Pass, and are these studios freed up to do more things? Are they able to use a lot of the money they make from these Activision games and stuff to fund even more games? And those are the kind of things to be excited about as a consumer, right? Like, but man, I can tell you one thing. I wouldn't want to be the person in charge of implementing the transition studio wise. That's got to be a monumental task. But I could tell you what I would do. I would make a lot of changes, and I would try and get some different variety of games out, because I do feel like publishers and studios that are just beholden to one big franchise often can falter, and you have massive swings. You have highs and lows, and sometimes once those lows get low, they never recover. And I wouldn't want to have this entire acquisition rest on the hopes and dreams of Call of Duty's future, right? As far as Xbox consumers goes, I would look at it from that aspect and be like, we need to increase the variety of games. Now, the one cool thing is there was already a hint that came out yesterday from Activision that they may be bringing back Guitar Hero, or at least it's a conversation that they're having or thinking about. So that's another thing. Like, what would Guitar Hero look like in Game Pass, right? It's going to be interesting. Jasper says Rob Kostic is the current president of Activision. I couldn't tell you what the fuck Rob Kostic looks like. Like, that's my thing, is like, that's cool and all, but like, does he have a face for gamers that people familiar with, like Pete Hines and Todd Howard? You know, like, no. I mean, people know Bobby Kotick, but also people don't like Bobby Kotick, so I don't think they really want to put him up there and be like, Bobby's like, yeah, this is great. I don't like Game Pass. Like, you're not gonna do that, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. You know, he's gonna be on the outs anyway, so it's gonna be interesting to see who kind of like presents that face, or what they do as kind of promoting the face for Activision Blizzard. Because they have that with all their studios, kind of. You know, I mean, for most of them at least, like, they have these people that are kind of synonymous with their studios, right? Poison says that guy was the David Vonderhaar was the guy, was that for COD, but he just left. Yeah, I mean, Call of Duty to me was like always Vince Zampella, Jason West, Robert Bowling, that original crew that created those first Call of Duty games and Modern Warfare, and then grew it from there, and then they left, right? That, because they create, just think about this. Vince Zampella, Jason West, like, they created Medal of Honor. They go on to create, because they did that for EA. I know that's 15 years ago, but for me, Call of Duty has been like this, like, thing that's just kind of like always rested and tried to just increase on the success of what those guys made, right? Like, they were the faces, they were the creators of what Call of Duty still is to this day, because really it's not I mean, it's different, but it's not a whole lot different. Like, they still created that. Like, so you go back and look at what they made. They originally made Medal of Honor, then they go on for EA, then they go on to make, which, if you remember, Medal of Honor was the shit back then. Then they go on to make COD, right, which took off and became like the phenomenon that it was. Then they kind of get fucked by Activision, so they leave. And then they make a deal with EA, form Respawn. Then they create Titanfall. Then they create Apex Legends. Then they create Jedi Fallen Order, and then Jedi Survivor, and like all this stuff. And then Vince Zampella has now Jason West only lasted a little while there. He left early on, I think, even maybe while Titanfall was still in development. But Vince Zampella has raised to the ranks of EA since then, and now it's like he's running the whole Battlefield franchise. gonna be insane. I'm so excited to see what he does with it, right? But like, and you look at and what I would compare it to, like Jasper, is like if you look at like BioWare, BioWare is like a shell of itself, right? The people that made BioWare what they were the doctors, like Ray. I can't remember the Ray Moosechack or something like that, and the other doctor. There's two doctors, right? And you look at Rockstar, right, and the Hauser brothers, right? Or you look at Metal Gear, is Kojima. Like, can they make future Metal Gear games? Yeah, sure they will, right? Will they make future GTAs if the Hauser brothers are no longer involved? Like, I know one of them's already out. Yeah, sure. Will they make future Red Deads? Yeah, sure. But they're all piggybacked on the success and the creations of the original developers, and those games will always be synonymous to me with the original creators, just like Call of Duty with Vincent Pella and Jason West, because they created the success. And I know it's been a long time, but the games wouldn't be what they are without those guys, for sure. They would. I mean, they wouldn't even exist. Nate Dog says, I hear this a lot recently, but how would you bring back Guitar Hero? It makes no sense. People don't really buy clunky external peripherals anymore, even though I certainly would. That's a good question. I've thought about it. Maybe you just have it as a controller-based game, and you have like the guitars available to order online if you want to order a guitar. So that way, like, you're not having like masses of them at GameStops and Walmarts and all that kind of shit, right? Because the game's going to be in Game Pass anyway. So you don't necessarily expecting people to go buy huge boxes of instruments. So I think you just make a special guitar or whatever and put it on the website for order, like offer a decent price on it. And for people that want it, order the peripheral. And that way you're not flooded with like this graveyard of plastic when people are done playing the game. And you can still have fun playing on a controller. Like, there's a lot of rhythm games that you use a controller with. Yeah, Treyarch, at first, Treyarch, back in the day, was the shitty COD developer. Like, that's kind of what they were thought of. Like, Infinity Ward, I mean, I'm talking about way back then, right? Infinity Ward was the ones that were like, okay, these are the great ones. And then people were like, oh, it's a Treyarch one, right? Then Treyarch really took off with Black Ops games and then established themselves as like a huge success, right? When Infinity Ward went down and kind of like stumbled really big time. And then Treyarch became the predominant Call of Duty developer. And at that point, yeah, sure, you could say that, but still, Treyarch was the second tier studio to Infinity Ward for a long time, and they were piggybacking off of Infinity Ward's success with Call of Duty. They were like the stopgap in between years kind of solution to be able to get a game out every year until they hit their stride and started making great games compared to Infinity Ward's after Jason West and Vincent Pella left. And it took Infinity Ward a long time to recover to make a kick-ass game again. But there was a time when that was the reality. But, and maybe he's the face of Treyarch and what they did and all that kind of stuff, and that's great, but still doesn't hold a candle to what Vincent Pella and Jason West meant to Call of Duty. You're saying that COD had the faces after that. Yeah. That's fine. I couldn't tell you what the fucker looks like, to be honest. And I played Call of Duty every fucking year, except Vanguard. But I knew who Vincent Pella and Jason West were. Maybe I just stopped paying attention as much. I don't know. Maybe it's because of zombies. I was never into zombies. Maybe they're always talked about zombies mode or something. I don't know. Abdel114 says, Jez Corden said old actors in games coming to Game Pass this week. Yeah, that's interesting. There's a little bit of like conflicting information out there now. Like, basically, ABK had their own tweet saying that they're going to look in next year into bringing their games into Game Pass. after they work with Microsoft and stuff, right? And then Jez like says, I have different information from sources. And he says sources, which means more than one, that as soon as this deal is finalized, there's going to be a selection of games hit Game Pass. Now, I would think if that's true, it'd be an older selection of games. Like in his article, shout out to Jez, always does great work. He talked about the fact that they booted up those Call of Duty servers again, and they did updates. They got things working and fixed some shit and stuff, right? And that created a resurgence, right? And at the time when that happened, we speculated, are they getting ready, for that way when this deal's done, they can drop those games in Game Pass? I think there's a selection of games that would probably be easier for them to just kind of pull the trigger on and flip the switch. I don't think like the bigger games that are like coming out or have just released are as simple. And that's probably more or less what ABK was talking about with their tweet. But it's going to be interesting. I think there's going to be probably a selection come soon. And then also you're going to have the bigger things happen along next year. We'll see. Abdel says Diablo 4 could use Game Pass. The community not pleased. Yeah, people are really hyping up the season 2 though. So far, what people have seen in season 2, people are really excited for. So I think they have a chance to recover there, but I think the player base is a lot smaller, obviously, than what it was before. But yeah, Jez's article is interesting. And he's also the one that broke the story about the Guitar Hero thing. So, I think there's a lot of cool stuff to look forward to from Activision. Personally, I got a question. Do y'all want Guitar Hero to come back? I mean, would y'all buy an instrument like online? Like if that was available to play Guitar Hero? Or would you just play on controller? I'm going to do a poll. Guitar Hero. What if it came with like 100 songs or something, or like 50 or whatever, and then like they release song packs like once every month or two? You wouldn't buy the songs unless they were 99 cents each. Yeah, I think that's around how much they used to be. Yeah, I used to be able to go and buy individual songs. I have a friend that had like thousands. Actually, like it filled up a hard drive just full of songs from Rock Band and Guitar Hero. Yeah, you could give me all of Spotify wouldn't give a shit, Jasper says. I personally I like those games. I remember I was more preferable to Rock Band personally, because I like the I think Guitar Hero ended up having this too, but if Rock Band, you ended up having like when it launched, you had drums and you had the microphone, and you had the guitar, so you had like this band situation going on that was a lot of fun to play. And I played it with my nieces and nephews and family. We had get-togethers all the time. I would usually sing or play the drums, and they would play guitar or whatever. We'd mix it up and stuff. But we had so much fucking fun, and we had complete get-togethers just based around the game, right? Like kids come over, hang out, we all listen to music and play and stuff, and it was just fun. It was a fun thing to do, as a family, right? But even without that, I still played by myself because it was fun. Like, I like rhythm-based games. I do. That's why I bought that Trombone Champ shit on the Switch. Like, I actually like rhythm-based games. There was a game on Xbox Live Arcade on 360 called Boom Boom Rocket that I absolutely loved. There's some other ones that had some demos recently I actually checked out and stuff like that, too. I think they're fun. But it's going to be interesting to see what a current day Guitar Hero looks like. The last generation, you remember, Rock Band tried to make a comeback, and they didn't succeed. Like they had new game. They brought the instruments back out to stores, all this kind of stuff, and it was like a one-off. Then they did DJ Hero, right? And that kind of was a little bit of a success, but then it kind of didn't ever do anything beyond that. You know, I hope that they do it in a way that's sustainable. Yeah, like a Black Knight says can do some crossover DLC with Hi-Fi Rush. Yeah, like why not have these games like have crossovers with other games? Like you have Guitar Hero, that would be I think also like I don't know what you guys think. If they did Guitar Hero, would it be exclusive or would it be multi-plat? I think it would be multi-plat. But it would be hilarious if it was multi-plat and they did crossovers with Xbox franchises. That's where it would be interesting because like and the reason I'm saying multi-plat is because it's synonymous with multiple consoles in the past. I think even Nintendo, like multiple platforms in the past, plus also like you're able to sell all the music in more than one place. So like it makes a lot of sense monetization wise, right? To not just be exclusive. Personally, I don't care either way. I think the game has a better chance to have legs if it's multi-plat. But it would be crazy if they do have like crossovers with like franchises from Xbox, like the Halo theme, right? Like what about the Halo 2 Steve Vai fucking guitar solo? That would be insane in a Guitar Hero. That'd be amazing. Like stuff like that. Yeah, there's so many awesome songs. What if you put like Mad World from like the um Gears of War launch trailer or Gears of War initial trailer, the first trailer we ever saw of Gears of War, right? Alvin says exclusive. Yeah, I don't know. Like maybe they would want to keep it exclusive. Um I mean it's a dead franchise, so I mean they can like kind of do whatever they want. I mean they could anyway. The only rules pertaining to anything is really, except for cloud, is ABK. I guess if people wanted to play in the cloud, they could. But playing a rhythm-based game in a cloud, that's gotta suck. So, Jasper says also physical guitars don't make sense anymore. They all go to the app stuff. Yeah. I don't know. I think there's still a market for the guitars for the people that want them. I don't think they would like sell them expecting to sell a shit ton of them. I think they would just make some to have available online for the people that want them and make sure they make a profit on them that sell, right? I don't think they're just like gonna make like a fuck ton of them and be like, oh, dude, we're gonna sell so many guitars, like it's gonna be amazing. Like I think they just like make a smaller amount of them, and then if the demand is high enough, they increase it, right? But like I feel like they're just gonna go into it making sure they make profit on the guitars that they sell, and have less of them available for the people that want them. Kind of like think of it like a steering wheel, right? Or maybe it's a third party develop company that makes the guitar that's like a universal one, you know? Like I feel like there's still a market there, but it's a smaller market, you know? Like and it'll just be for the enthusiast that really want those. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do. I don't see like a boom of guitars out there, but like I do hope they do make some for the people that want to use them, because I want to play Guitar Hero with a guitar. If it comes back, I want a guitar. But yeah, Andrew Reeves, like arcade sticks. Yeah, arcade sticks. They don't have a huge market, right? But they exist for people that want them. Steering wheels, huge, not a huge market, but they exist. Like flight sticks, they exist, right? I think you could have the similar kind of market for guitars, and I think Xbox would either partner with somebody, or Activision would, or they would make one themselves, right? Activision would, because they already probably know how to do it and they already have the partner, but like just maybe like make not have it like at the stores unless you maybe pre-order like a special edition version or something, like maybe only available for like pre-orders and not have like an insane amount. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I hope they do, because I don't want to use my fucking phone. And I don't want to use the controller if I don't have to, but I will. Because you can play rhythm games on a controller. You could play Guitar Hero, Rock Band with a controller before, and it was fine. It just wasn't as fun. Kate says it would be kind of hard to do licensing with many people and bands who passed away. Usually the like music studios or the music publishers and stuff own the rights to a lot of those the songs, not necessarily musicians. So that's kind of like not necessarily a thing. Like they go to like whoever owns the rights to the music and they make deals with them. Like if it's Sony Records or if it's like Columbia or whatever, all through the labels. Yeah, they go through the labels and do all that stuff. So there was tons of songs on there from people that were gone in the past, guitar heroes and rock bands and stuff. Like it's just whoever owns the rights to the music. You get the rights and the license through them. And that's usually how it's done. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. I hope it's a thing. I gotta say. Man, Xbox keeps releasing so many damn controllers. I just saw this. They have this other gold controller coming out. Let's see. Did Rock Band have Rush or was that Rocksmith? I think Rock Band had Rush. I think Rock Band had Rush. I remember playing some Rush songs. Pretty sure. What's up, Captain Destruction? I'm gonna end this poll. Alvin, sorry, let me get to your super chat, bro. Alvin hit us earlier with the $5. Says, I bet a ton of non Call of Duty games drop right away. They want all COD players on Modern Warfare 3 at launch. Older CODs come in December or 2024. Could be wrong, but I bet. So you bet a ton of non-COD games drop right away. They want all COD players on Modern Warfare 3 at launch. Older CODs come in December or 2024. That's a good point, because you're kind of right, dude. Like, do they want like a huge resurgence on old Call of Duty games right before Modern Warfare 3 comes out? That might do a little disservice to the player base or the hype around Modern Warfare 3. So they may wait for it to die down a bit, and maybe when like COD is kind of starting to trickle down in the numbers, release all the stuff to reinvigorate people on COD. Like it's a good thought. Older CODs come in December of 2024. Could be wrong, but yeah, that's a good thought, dude. Jay Rembert with the $2 tickle. Kate. Yeah, I said tickle. Jay Rembert with the $2 says that 2024 Xbox showcase will be insane. Man. I mean, you're right. To think about what they could have, but the thing is, I think we're getting more than one showcase next year. I mean, we had more than one this year. I count that Dev Direct as a showcase. I mean, that was solid. That Dev Direct was amazing. Early in January, we had Hi-Fi Rush, a Shadow Drop. You had more game. I mean, you had other game. Like, there's so much stuff there. What was there? You had Forza. You had Hi-Fi Rush, Surprise. wasn't Starfield was there too at that time, I believe, and then something else. Something else. There's like 4 or 5 games there. I can't remember everything that was there. Hellblade 2, maybe. But anyway, fuck. It was great. It was awesome. And then we had the huge showcase in the summer. That was absolutely insane. Like so many damn games that were awesome. And then now 2024 is coming, and we already have games announced for 2024. Plus, we already know there's more coming that we may not know about, or also that were pushed back to 2024 from 2023 from like third-party companies like Stalker 2 and stuff like that. So like 2024 is going to be absolutely fucking incredible. I can't wait for the showcase. I want to know like if they're going to have any surprises, what's going to be there. But I gotta hope, honestly, that PlayStation has a good showcase next year. God, I hope they do. Because this shit was weak, man. Calorie said it didn't get a notification. Yeah, YouTube sometimes does that. What's up, Black Knights? I better not hear Xbox has no games ever again. Man, they're still saying that shit, dude. They're still saying Xbox has no games, or that like Xbox like doesn't have anything that people care about and stuff like that. What's it gonna take? You know, they got to release God of War on fucking Xbox. Is that what it's gonna take? Like these people, like they're just ridiculous in the first place. They're all making the same damn excuses that Xbox players did back when actually there was less games. Oh, you know, they got third party. You know, we got a lot of third-party stuff. You know, we have the third-party exclusives. You know, we got so many different things to play that, you know, it's not just first-party. I mean, that was a conversation a long time ago. Now that's the entire narrative of the PlayStation community when anybody brings up that they had one big game this year. It sounds like Xbox guys in 2016. It's like crazy, dude. It's like the roles have reversed. Yeah, and Ray. The funny thing is, like, not enough people are calling that out. PlayStation got no games is more like it. Yeah, not enough people are calling it out. Where's the fucking first party games? Where are they? Jasper says the X-Bab show, Xbox Bethesda, Activision Blizzard just need a Y to make it the X-Baby show. Is there a game studio that starts with a Y? I'm trying to think of one. Secret showcase in November? I mean, that would be insane. I wouldn't count on that. Like, oh, you mean like for PlayStation or Xbox? Like in November, a secret showcase? Oh, maybe they have like a if it's the Xbox side, maybe they have some kind of like, you know, Activision Blizzard thing. PlayStation, is that what they're saying, that they have a secret showcase in November? Why would they have a big showcase after Spider-Man 2? I feel like what PlayStation is going to do is kind of rely on the Game Awards to be another showcase for them. That's kind of what they've been doing, right? What I do hope, though, is this year Xbox brings it at the Game Awards and doesn't sit back. I understand that Keighley is like, he is who he is. But like, for the audience that's watching, that's not us, right? We have to think about this. For the people that aren't like the diehard gamers or the Xbox fans or whatever, they're just watching the Game Awards, because this Game Awards is going to be massive. This year matters more than most about who wins Game of the Year because of how many great games came out in 2023, right? So like, imagine the casual audience just sitting there seeing the show. They think it's a representation of gaming, and then Xbox not have anything there to present as far as like new game announcements or game trailers and stuff like that. It was kind of tough to watch last year when what was going on at the time with ABK, seeing Phil in the crowd there to cheer on what was the game As Dusk Falls, right? And stuff like that. But like it was kind of like for Xbox consumers, it was kind of like, oh, after the year that was we had 2022 to see that, and it's like, oh, like if they had brought some games to the Game Awards, it would have been pretty awesome. And they had them in their pocket. They had Hi-Fi Rush, which we got announced in January, right, as a shadow drop. Now, looking back on things, I'm glad they made that decision because a shadow drop is way fucking cooler, right, and way better. But I do hope they have some shit, some really cool stuff like they did the previous years at the Game Awards for the people that don't have Xboxes, that aren't in the ecosystem, to get excited about and to say like, oh shit, that looks pretty badass, right? Maybe they use it as an update for Perfect Dark or like a new Fable trailer or whatever. I don't know what it would be. Maybe an update on State of Decay or like something that looks badass and is like, wow, that's cool. I need to get an Xbox. That's what they should use for the Game Awards for, and they didn't do it last year, probably because they had the Dev Direct scheduled for January. We'll see if that's going to be the case again. Do they hold back from the Game Awards? The reason I think they are going to have stuff is because after the Xbox showcase, when Jeff Grubb was interviewing Phil and Matt Booty, they mentioned there's more shows this year, and they mentioned, Gamescom, they mentioned Tokyo Game Show, and they mentioned the Game Awards as opportunities to show games. So I'm thinking maybe they have some stuff planned at this Game Awards this year. It'll be interesting to see. Kojima's new game. Yeah, Kojima coming out on stage. This time is for Xbox at the Game Awards. That'd be nuts. You never know. KT the Goat says, I think this is an overrated gaming year in all honesty, minus maybe Starfield and Tears of the Kingdom. Most people won't even play these games next year. I'm going to be playing Forza and Starfield for years to come. Also, Age for me as well. I think that there's some games that are going to stand the test of time for 2023. But yeah, I wouldn't. I get maybe for you personally, but like as far as the perception and how people feel about a lot of the games that came out this year, I think overall this year's gonna stand on its own. Like Baldur's Gate 3 is another one. Like, but I think 2024 is gonna give it a run for its money. Nate Dogg says Larian should make a game that's real time and not turn based. Nate Dogg. With all due respect. All due respect, my friend. No. Hell no. Just let these guys that make these special niche genres that are core to the existence of what they are, keep those kinds of games alive. Obviously, the game is fucking amazing. It's not necessarily going to be for everybody, and that's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Not every game needs to be the same. Like not every game needs to be action based or like it's fine that for turn based games to exist as well as action games and as well as simulators and as well as arcadey games and as well as all this stuff. Now like Larian and Specialty is making these kind of games, right? And if they're the best at it right now, let them do what they do best and make a potential game of the year, right? I can't wait for it to hit Xbox. I'm fucking so excited for it. AJ says, why is no one asking for Devil May Cry to be turn-based? Yeah, exactly. Exactly, right? Because, it's is what it is. And I will say there's a lot of Final Fantasy fans that are asking for Final Fantasy games to be turn-based because they have taken the core essence out of the main franchise and turned it into a more casual, action-based experience that core Final Fantasy and RPG fans aren't a big fan of. Like, do we want like Baldur's Gate or whatever Larian does next to be like a Final Fantasy 16? Hell fucking no. Absolutely not. Like, let them cook, let them do what they do, and guess what? They created something that is special, right? Absolutely special. Now, it may not be for you or for everybody, but that's okay. There's plenty of other action games out there. Go look. There's so many other games out there like that, made by so many other developers that make those kind of games. So why have Larian, who is one of the few that makes this kind of game so well, do something else? Just like, keep it up, Larian. I hope you make the next decade have 2 or 3 other big, huge releases of turn-based tactics RPG. Really, it's a CRPG. It's a CRPG is in its core is what it's called. I hope they keep it up. Yeah, like, hey, can we make Spider-Man 2 turn-based, or can we make fucking Halo like, nobody's asking for this shit. Like, let the game that is be like that be that way for the people that love it. Because there's not a lot of developers out there that make those kind of games, right? And I hope, like, Josh Sawyer was putting out there like stuff like, it's not like I'm gonna get a $150 million budget for another new pillars. I hope Xbox gives it to him. I hope Xbox saw his tweet and his comment and be like, you know what, Josh? We see the success of Baldur's Gate. We believe in you. We believe in Obsidian. We think you can do something special. So let's roll with it. And you go and turn this thing into another huge exclusive success for Xbox, with transforming pillars from what was a smaller budget CRPG that was a core CRPG. I mean, like, to its, like, definitely a hardcore CRPG, but like, with the production values and the quality and the budget of like a Baldur's Gate 3 would be absolutely fucking incredible. Absolutely amazing. I got Soul says Halo needs a third person option. It doesn't have to be Master Chief for the purists. Let it be Atriox of the Arbiter or Loki Swords. I feel like I'm playing 2 different games in Starfield. I feel like, honestly, I'm fine with the regular franchise of Halo to still be just first person. But I do feel like Halo needs more spin-off games and more different franchise, like separate franchises taken off from it. I fucking love Halo Wars. Like, where is Halo Wars? Like, we have in this new ecosystem, we have the Game Pass and all this other stuff. I feel like a new Halo Wars actually has a great chance of success. So Halo Wars 3, please, somebody make Halo Wars 3. Creative Assembly needs saving right now. They just had layoffs and stuff. The game that they were kind of forced to start working on just got canceled. Let's get Creative Assembly on a new Halo Wars. Let's go. You have this partnership with Sega. They're the ones that worked on it before. Relic, did Relic actually get closed? I can't remember what happened to Relic, but they've worked on Halo Wars in the past. They're in trouble. Let's get these guys to make a Halo Wars. Or, you know what? You got the internal teams now, Xbox. You can probably have somebody else do it. Like, just let's go. But beyond that, look at all these studios you have, and now that you're also getting like ABK, put it out there to all the developers in the ecosystem for Xbox and all this development talent, and say, hey, anybody interested in Halo projects? We're listening to proposals, right? And let people come up with their ideas and say, hey, I want to make this Halo kind of game, but it's going to be different. It's like third person, or like it's a horror game, or like it's, like, and then make sure the story's canon and it fits in with all this stuff, do all that, right? But like, let these teams do other stuff with Halo, and then you still have your mainline Halo, but it's such a great universe and stories and worlds and shit that they could do so much with that they're not. Anonymous Boss with the 2 says, sup everyone, where are those magic cookies, Mav? Yeah, I got them Right here, right next to me, bro. I got my animal crackers. Grumpy Shaman says they need a Splinter Cell style Halo game. You mean like with like ODST guys, like Splinter Cell, maybe like a stealth shock trooper? That'd be pretty fucking cool. I just want Splinter Cell to come back and be successful. I mean, Splinter Cell in its own right just needs to come back because I'll be happy for that. Now, there's a reboot in the works, remake, reboot, whatever you want to call it, but like, we haven't heard about it since it was announced in a blog post like a year ago. So I can't wait till we actually find out something about it. But I need some Splinter Cell in my life. One of my favorite franchises ever, just sitting there to skip the whole fucking generation. 3 years into this one, still nothing. How long has it been since an actual Splinter Cell game came out? Been over a decade, I think. Hey, I ain't touching that Gollum shit. um, when did Splinter Cell Blacklist come out? I think they just had their 10. Yeah, 2013, guys. August of 2013, since we've had a Splinter Cell. They let this shit go on for 10 years without a game. What are they doing? Ubisoft playing around too much, man. Like, I'm hoping that they seemed like they made some comments recently that they think they got their shit together finally, but I don't know. Like, we'll have to wait and see. Supposedly they're supposed to be releasing X Defiant soon. So yeah, but I've just been relishing in all these great games, guys, and it's been amazing. PlayStation, mostly collecting dust, except for the few days I played GT7 leading up to Forza. You know, I had been playing GT7 before that, but I hadn't touched it in forever. But you know, I wanted to have it fresh in my mind for Forza, and besides that, I haven't played my PlayStation like really at all this year. Sucks. X Defiant had gotten delayed, but I think just until like later this year. So like it's coming out, I believe, maybe in November sometime or October, like late October, early November. It's just got to pass certification. Once it passes certification, they're gonna put it out. Jay asked, which is better, GT or Forza? Keep in mind, I like both games, right? I'm not one of the people that think GT7 is trash. I've always loved Gran Turismo and I've always loved Forza, but I've always been, except for, you know, before Forza existed, because I can't have a comparison. Like the original Gran Turismo is one of those special games for me that's like hard to remove the amazing memories that I had with that game. But beyond that, since Forza came out, I've always felt like Forza was the better game. Now, it's been 6 years now since we've had a Forza. So I feel like they had a lot to live up to like, you know, 6 years. It's a big release for them now. And GT7, I think it's got definitely some issues, but it's still a really fun game for me. But Forza Motorsport, the cars feel better, the driving is better. Most of the time, the game looks better. There's times in Forza, you can listen to all the shit you see online or whatever. Like, you just play the game. It's in Game Pass. Like, there's times in Forza, like especially if you do like the hood view and you have like everything off, like all the overlays and stuff off, and you know, and you're just driving. If it like, let's say it's like nighttime with fog and lights, it is so fucking real looking. You can forget you're playing a game. I have never had that experience in another racing game before. Never. And that's while holding a controller. And as much as I like GT7, the way the cars handle in Gran Turismo will never allow that kind of experience to happen. Like Gran Turismo's like cars are kind of floaty on the track, right? They just don't grip as well, and you don't get that feeling and that sensation that you do in Forza. And with the more realistic lighting that Forza has, sometimes it can be almost like, and it's against Forza because like if it's a hazy day, it's gonna look hazy, right? Like that's the way the races actually work in Forza. Like, but if you get if everything is like with the different times of day are good, and like you have the different weather effects or whatever, the lighting is by far superior in Forza Motorsport. The fidelity on the cars is superior on Forza. Everything, like really, honestly, pretty much everything to me is superior in Forza. I will give Gran Turismo a little bit of a leg up on the like UI presentation. Like if you just like look at Gran Turismo and like the way that they kind of present things like within like the UI and the menu system and like the outside of racing and outside of actually playing the game, I think you can look at Gran Turismo and be like, there's some really cool, like interesting stuff there. Like that's quirky and different and it looks kind of good and stuff like that. But like when you're playing the game, when it actually fucking matters, Forza smashes it. And I like Gran Turismo. Like I'm not trying to talk shit about Gran Turismo. It's just, it's better. It's better at racing. It's better looking, and it's more fun to play. Like if that's what matters, that's what matters, right? So Lemon, you're 100% right, dude. Like 108 Dragons, shout out to Lemon, says GT hasn't been the same since 2. Yeah, those old Gran Turismo games have a special place in my heart, dude. Like they're some of my favorite games ever. Like the grind aspect that those gave me, like with like really working for something and like improving and getting better and like loving the car that you've invested your time in and all that shit. Like they got something so special back in those original Gran Turismo games. And then they got away from it, and they ended up taking like too long to put out games. And then when they did come out, they didn't really feel like an evolution. They just felt like samey, but they got rid of the parts that made it special and all that stuff. I will say this GT7 is a better medium ground to like those original games than they've released in years. But it's still not the same since like those first 2 Gran Turismos. Like visuals are good in Gran Turismo. I do like it. I think the lighting looks great. They always have had great lighting in Gran Turismo. But honestly, like there's scenes, and you can watch clips, and these clips are not fake at all. I mean, like you can watch clips sometimes of Forza, and if it's like on Twitter, you're scrolling through that shit, you could think it's a real race. You could actually think that shit's a real. That doesn't happen with Gran Turismo, and the reason is because they've actually improved the lighting so much in Forza to give it that realistic look, which is something that Forza's been missing. And it's actually way more realistic than Gran Turismo's lighting is. As good as Gran Turismo's lighting is and has always been, the lighting in this new Forza just like fucking smashes it. And this was at first. When I first started playing Forza, I was like, oh, yeah, there's certain scene, like, I didn't really like the way that looked or something, but that was only in small instances. But as I've played more and more of the game, like, now I'm, like, around level 60, I've come to understand some of those times those moments happen is actually because that's the way it actually would look on, like, that time of day in the real world also. Like, if you go outside and you're driving, and I've been paying attention to this, like, I've been playing so much fucking Forza, like sometimes when I'm driving, like I want to fucking like take the corner and like try and pass people and stuff. I mean, obviously I don't, but it's gotten so much into my soul that I'm thinking about Forza all the time. And when I'm driving the car in real life, I'm looking around at the lighting and I'm like recognizing the reflections on the windshield and on the side on the fucking mirrors and the windows and like the cars that are passing by, the way that it looks in the light during the day and all this stuff. I'm like, holy shit, this looks like fucking Forza. I'm in the real world and like I'm thinking like this shit looks like Forza. And I've never had that experience with Gran Turismo, right? Like it's actually happened. And yesterday, this actually happened to me. Like this was that moment, like when I was like, oh shit, this is different, right? I was playing Forza in the room where I had my big screen at, right? And I was sitting there, I was playing the game, I was like immersed, I was doing track after track, race after race, and all this stuff. And I was in this night race with patchy fog. And on this track was a heated battle. I was in a Porsche 911. Driving pretty damn fast. This was at the time, this was the fastest car I had driven, right? And it was souped up, pretty high and stuff. We're racing really fast, and it was dark. But the lights were casting. I'm in cockpit mode. And I was going so fast down this like straightaway. And something happened in my brain or something where I'm just like got so sucked in and immersed into the game that I kind of like lost myself and felt like I was actually there racing the car, you know? And I actually had this like pretty good amount of sense of fear come over me. And I've never had this happen in a racing game. The only time I've ever had this happen is like in a horror game, like in something like a Resident Evil 7 where you're supposed to feel that way, right? I was racing and I actually had this sense of fear, like, oh shit, I'm gonna crash. Like, I can't see far enough in front of me. You know what I mean? It was that sense of feeling like if I was driving too fast late at night on a highway or something, like going balls to the wall. And you know how it is when you're driving at night, right? Especially like on a highway without a lot of lights and stuff. You can only see so far. And it was like, I had this sense. I was like, oh shit. And then I actually took a second. I was like, what just happened? Like, why did I feel that way? Like, no racing game has ever made me feel that way before. That was crazy. It was a moment. Like, it really was. And that may sound stupid or crazy, but like, for me, if a game gives you emotion like that or like gives you feelings like that, it's something special, right? Like, it was created by the situation that I was in, right, at the time, a moment in time that may not happen for anybody else, right? And it was just absolutely insane. And because of moments like that, it's like that's the game, right? That's the game. GT7 doesn't have that. You could like let me mention like VR. I don't have a VR headset. VR stuff makes me sick, right? Like it really does. We actually I take it back. We have a Meta Quest 2 in the house. It's my daughter's. I've tried it and stuff, and I've tried original headsets when they came out and all that kind of stuff. Like I even had a Galaxy VR back in the day and stuff, but like VR, I've never been a huge fan of it. It gives me headaches, makes me nauseous, all this kind of stuff. I would like to experience GT7 in VR just to see what it's like and to get that immersion and that realism and see like how it feels. And I'm sure it's amazing, but like I wouldn't play it for that way for any extended period of time to warrant myself spending that kind of money just for that, right? I would rather justify spending that kind of money on a racing setup, right? For that immersion for Forza. Colin Prime says I'm saving for the Quest 3. But like this Forza special, man. I know you just asked what's better, but that's my long, windy road of explaining why I think Forza Motorsport's better than GT7. And it comes down to the cars and the handling and the way it feels and the immersion that you get when you're racing, especially in cockpit mode or hood mode. Like if you like the what's it called? We just see the hood, or in the cockpit. The game's fucking special. Anyway, IGN 7 out of 10. Too much rain. Yeah. ABK deal tomorrow or Friday, guys. That's what we're expecting. So we'll see what happens. But Tom Warren is usually not wrong, and he's the one that said that. So he's the first one that said it. One thing, one thing I like that what GT7 does is their skies, clouds are gorgeous. Yeah, that's it. I love GT7. Like, yeah, I do. I've actually been thinking about, do I hop back into it like at all? But I'm just so sucked into Forza I can't stop playing it. Speaking of, if I don't get off of here soon, I won't be able to play any more Forza tonight. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and probably end the stream here, everybody. It's been an awesome conversation with you guys. Thank you for hanging out and contributing in the chat and having the conversations with me. Absolutely love hanging out with you guys and talking games and stuff. I can't wait to see, what happens on Friday. I can't wait to see what happens, like we talked about, next year. This year, actually, of hardware, I think next year for 2024 as well. PlayStation sucks ass for doing what they did with the PS5 digital. Ain't no way around it. It's just like a dick move, I think. A cash grab, way to go up on their price when they're already killing it with hardware sales. I think they're doing it to maximize their profits because software sales and services are down. That's why they also increase the price on their subscription services. They're looking for influxes of cash right now on the diehard consumers because they know they're not growing too far past that. They're trying to take advantage of the people that are there no matter what, and they're going to fuck them left, they're going to fuck them right, fuck them whichever way they can, and get every ounce out of them because they love being milked. And PS5 Digital is the latest in that line after the PS Plus subscription increase for a subscription where not even this game that we just talked about, GT7, which is 18 fucking months old, is in the service. Really? You're not even, we speculated a while back, 3 months, 6 months. What are they going to do? 12 months? 18 fucking months? Still not there? 19 now, almost. Like, what the hell? And you're going to go up on that price? Then you're going to go up on your hardware? Oh, yay, thanks. Oh, Last of Us Part 2 remaster? Yippee! So fucking excited. So fucking excited to get this new PS5 digital and have it sitting horizontal on a fucking popsicle stick so it doesn't fall over. And if I want to have it look somewhat decent and put it vertical, like it shows in every single piece of advertising PlayStation puts out, got to spend an extra $30. Oh, thank you. Thank you for doing that to us, PlayStation. You rock. You're amazing. Greatness awaits. I'm still fucking waiting. Have a good day, everybody. Peace out. See you later.